us. So I would like to request Shri Omprakash Subbarao ji, Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission, National Health Authority and Government of India as moderator of this session. Can we have a big round of applause for him? Followed by the bureaucrats and panelists of this session. I would like to request Dr. Rashmi Singh ji, IAS, Commissioner, State Taxes Department and Administrative Secretary, Mining Department, UT of Jammu and Kashmir, to kindly come and join us on the dais. Next, I would like to request Dr. Shafqat Khan ji, Additional Managing Director, Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission and Nodal Officer AI, UT of Jammu and Kashmir, with a big round of applause. Requesting Dr. Ashok Kumar Hota ji, Deputy Director General and SIO, National Informatics Center, Odisha. Requesting Shri Vikas Nigam ji, VP and Business Head Government BU, ParadigmIT Technology Services Private Limited, with a big round of applause. Last but not the least, requesting Shri Kishor Asrani ji, Head Enterprise Business, NELCO, to kindly come and join us on the dais with a big round of applause. Can we have a round of applause for all our panelists? So from here on, I am handing it over to our moderator of this session, Shri Omprakash Subbarao ji.
Thank you. We're going to talk about the digital first mindset. So in some way, the context has been set for a digital first mindset. When questions were posed about digitalization versus digital transformation, and the best example was cited in the morning. So I just want to repeat that because that sets this stage for this discussion. Thinking in Oriya and speaking in English versus thinking in Oriya and speaking in Oriya. So that's what digital first mindset is all about. And just start. Of course, there are digital first mindset means several things to several people. It's an approach where organizations prioritize digital technology and online channels when designing processes, products and services, etc., etc. There are so many definitions. But I want to start by asking a question. From ABDM, where I'm NHA, we did an experiment. We are running something called microsites, and we did one in Gujarat. We were trying to see who are the doctors who will be early adopters of digital technology. And I will just ask you two questions. I just want you to raise your hands because this is the last session. I want to make sure everybody is awake and listening. So who do you think would be the early adopters of technology amongst doctors? I'll give you two age segments, and I just want you to raise your hand. The first segment is someone who is between 25 years and 40 years. That's the first segment. The second segment is between 40 years and 60 years. Okay? So who do you think will be the early adopters of something like ABDM or digital technology? The first segment, can you please raise your hand, would be, who do you think they would be the largest and quickest adopters? Okay. Obviously, the second segment is 40 plus, up to 60 years. So how many of you think will be early adopters? Just one person raising his hand. What we discovered was the person who adopted digital technology, a doctor, was about 56 years old. He does the highest amount of prescriptions digitally in Surat. And when we went and asked him why is it so, he said, look, the writing is on the wall. Digital is the way to go, and I have to do everything digitally. If I don't do it now, I'll become extinct. At least now I have the luxury of someone holding my hand and saying this is the way to do it. But if I don't do it, 2 years down the line, nobody will be there to hold my hand and I will become extinct. That's what he said. So with that as an introduction, we have a very interesting panel. So there are a few questions which we would like to address. What is a digital first mindset in each of the domains that the panelists represent, and what do they think is a digital first mindset, and what are the challenges that they see, and their own experiences that they would want to share. We'll go again in no specific order, but let's start with Dr. Piyush Singla. Okay, he's left. So Dr. Rashmi Singh, request you to share your thoughts on this subject.
Okay, so in terms of the mindset, a lot has been spoken since morning. And I do personally feel that it has emerged very, very clearly again that the mindset, it's something which ought to be. That's how I would first like to define, yeah. Because in terms of like, yeah, you know, rather than just going by a theoretical definition of what it is, I would say that what actually the current scenario when we see in the workspaces, the kind of digital mindset which should be there is actually not percolated to the extent it should. There has to be an admission to this effect across all sectors, I think. Why? Because very, very clear today that the kind of range, potential, the immense, the contemporariness and the dynamism of digitalization in terms of what it should be understood, for bringing efficiency, for, bringing a more user-friendly experience. So that kind of canvas is something which is still eluding us. That's what I feel. At the same time, when you say that in terms of like, yeah, what should normally be understood is, like a culture. So it's, when we say, the mindset, it's almost, that it becomes a part of your reflex action to think, how, in what manner we can do things more efficiently with the use of the tools, instruments, which are all there, all around us, but probably we are not using it to the extent. So that's the kind of culture, which, in my view, is a digital mindset across various sectors and across various spectrums, also across various age groups. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashmi. That was rather brief. Maybe we will probably come back to you with...
No, let me add, because in terms of the challenges, now coming to the government, again, like things have been kind of rightly underscored, that the level of skill required in terms of workforce to be equally adept at being able to make use of the, not just what's there, but also, in terms of, aspiring for more. I think a lot of digitization is already there. And many of them, especially when you look at the J&K success stories, which we have been talking about. Now, I represent two sectors over here because you gave me time, so I'm kind of again tempted to use that time rather than just being brief, like say GST. Now, GST in terms of taxation, you all are aware it's a major, major, major transformatory step. How made possible in terms of one nation, one tax? How made possible in terms of huge data? And how many subsets talking to each other to be able to actually come up with, such instruments through which you are plugging tax evasions and you are, there's actually a quantum leap happening in tax collection. So that's a very, very good example, including, say, when I say J&K success story now, because my predecessors have said it, it will not be fair if I don't mention that 1 year down the line, when I see, how we have performed, just in 1 year that I've been there, 35% growth in cash collection we have had, as against national average of 15%. Now, how was it possible? In my own way, I've been trying to drive that culture again. So that culture is important of not just like using data, but seeing that, well, there are instruments which are providing you with analysis. There are analytical tools there. But there's more, which needs there, which has to come from, that need assessment done by the team. And some of the gaps you said, data is not talking to each other. It's there, but it should be talking to each other. It doesn't. So across, like whether when I look at GST or I say look at mining to curb the leakages. So there are the data sets there. We have done very well in terms of many things like e-stamping with, again, quantum jump, from a manual mode, from a physical mode of stamp to now going to electronic mode of stamp, paper and stamp duty being collected. So, but, more of leakages which can be clubbed by many of the data sources, whether income tax and GST department, and then whether transport department and GST, be it, a works contract. We came up with a very simple tool that whenever payment is released for works contracts, can we have a system shared by the drawing and disbursal officers that, there should be an alert to us. And again, there's a huge change. Many of the leakages got curbed. So we need to talk more about these successes. But these successes, not only within the government, but also the user's experience is equally important, I feel. So more we talk about it, more confidence people get, but more innovative, more creativity is what brings the data digital culture. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Rashmi, and those were very useful use cases that you shared, and indeed 35% growth in tax collection is something that we should all be proud about and laud. With that, let us shift gears a little and still stay with J&K. I request Dr. Shafqat Khan to share his experience on ABDM and the digital mindset, how it has helped in implementing that in his state.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll be very brief in what I want to share, and that is the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission in J&K. Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission is a flagship scheme of the Government of India, and we are anticipating that the entire digital health repository of the patient gets created, and that will start from a unique ABHA ID, Ayushman Bharat Health Account, for all the citizens of the country. And we have been able to achieve that success to a very large quantum, and we have already 71 lakh against 1.25 crore population. Having said that, mindset, when you say mindset, I tell people when I go down training them at the healthcare level or the citizens, I say the faster you embrace digital, technology, the better it is, because sooner or later you have to embrace it. It's a one-way, traffic, the train is going up. You will just lose the time if you don't avail this opportunity. But, in the previous years of our country, it has been license Raj, it has been, subsidies. So there was a training program of Asha workers and Anganwadi workers together. That's a mindset I'm just trying to describe in India. So one of the ladies is coming to my, chair repeatedly and saying, what is the, हमें फायदा क्या मिलेगा अब ID बनाने से? So I just, once I tried to, not reply, but she repeatedly came, so I said, 50 रुपए तुम्हारे account में आ जाएंगे. And she quickly went to the entire crowd, and they really started on their phones, and within, say, a couple of hours, the entire crowd was, having their own ABHA IDs. My point is that, to change a mindset from the physical modes, the paper, and then the, prescriptions which doctors write, and then the long queues and you know, the OPD queues and the doctor chamber wait. This all will have great implications. We'll have paperless, you know, doctors. We'll have, as Subbarao sir said, that we are doing microsite projects. There are 100 microsites being developed across the country. Small ABDM, you know, areas, geographical areas, where the complete ecosystem will be mapped. The doctor, the institution, the Abha ID will be generated for the person, and all the private institutions in that area will be mapped along with their doctors, the facilities. So if you touch any health facility, it will reflect in your Abha ID, in your repository, in the vertical health records. Having said that, I understand briefly one thing, that our digital lives have transformed us. They have brought ease in our lives. And that is what basically our digital journeys are meant to be, you know, to make them transparent, to create ease of living, to create, you know, access, transparency, accountability in systems. And that's what is happening actually. The digital One India is moving at such a fast pace. I think all of you realize that this pace we not expected, but India is doing so well. And people have adjusted to this change so well because they have looked at it, that it's very beneficial. You are, you know, getting your tickets, you are getting your food online, you are getting all the facilities you want, you're paying your bills online. And I understand that the common Indian, whether he's a smartphone user or not, he's already aware that this is a facility, you know, this is ease in his life. But some of the panelists who were earlier who said that the internet proliferation is low, the people don't know how to use internet, smartphones. Like our state has 70% internet smartphone proliferation. What about the 30%? I think there is hand-holding. The governments are thinking. We are at the federal level and the union government level, at the NHA level. The schemes, the softwares are continuously being developed, which will help those who cannot, you know, use smartphones easily, OTP-based verification, scan and pull. You know, we'll have an Abha card, there'll be a QR code, we'll scan his demographics from his card. So, I believe fully that the transformation, the mindset of a common Indian over the past decade especially has changed, and a vigorous, you know, approach towards, you know, getting into this digital ecosystem from the citizen point of view is very great. Having said that, as Madam put it, our predecessors here said that we have done a lot of great things in J&K, and I compliment the entire team of J&K administration. You know, when we talk about e-office, the Suvidas, the apps, Amarnath Yatra, revenue records, as Madam said, sales tax collections, electricity. I'm paying electricity bills in Srinagar online. Every time, it's on my app. I'm paying 1,000 rupees, 1,500. Whenever it goes that limit, I pay and it gets, you know, back into action. So I think J&K has a future in IT and digital transformation. And trust me, we have done far better than we expected to do in these 4 or 5 years. It is completely transformed. It's a great place to be. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Dr. Shafqat Khan, thanks for sharing that, and it's very heartening to note the digital progress that J&K has achieved. We'll now again move to Dr. Ashok Kumar, who is the DDG in NIC. I request Dr. Ashok Kumar to please share his experience in terms of NIC. I'm sure they handle lots and lots of projects, so I think who would be better than him to talk about digital mindsets.
Thank you, sir. In contrast to the example you cited about this doctor's experience, I know in the revenue department, you know, all the records, all the activities have been computerized. But in my village, there is a young boy who is the hand of the RI, because RI is not able to use those applications. So he is depending upon the young boy, and young boy is more powerful than I. And similarly, in the school age systems also, you will see number of applications and mobile apps are being used. But such senior teachers, they are depending upon the younger ones, and they are becoming more powerful. But thanks to the transformation happening, now the new generation who are coming to join as RI or teachers, they are coming with a mindset that we have to use the application. As the doctor was thinking, without using of the application, our life is not going to happen. So they are now actually the key factors in the success of transformations. Now coming to the developing the mindset, first of the leaders should have a proper vision. Their mission statement should be very clear. It is not using a lot of technologies. Since morning we must be hearing so many blockchain and AI, generative AI and so many technologies. But all are, my concept of transformation is use simple technologies and you can have a lot of effective e-governances for the citizens. Take a small example. We have the face recognition systems or face detection systems. So simple technology, how we can use? We have seen the use in the DigiJatra. You define your mission statement and solution will come. We have used in the Jeevan Praman. We have used in a number of applications, maybe the attendance system, face recognition based attendance system for the students, even for the midday meal cases, group photographs and numbers you can count. So same technology can be used for number of solutions. Now, Sir was, our transport commissioner was there. He was talking about one application that is the e-detection system. How e-detection system is working. Now the second step when you're coming for the mindset development is the defining the processes, some process reforms. We are talking about the JNK friend was talking about the process reengineering. So when we are talking about the process reforms, not only the change of the processes of process engineering, we have to think about that the silo applications should be integrated with other applications and other departments. So e-detection system, it is developed in Odisha and it is now being replicated in other states. You will see what is the motto, what is the mission statement? Mission statement was to have a road safety. Because there was an incident in Keonjhar district here, the mining is happening. When the accident happened and when insurance claim is coming, it was observed that the vehicle is not having the road permit, not having the license, but that vehicle is running. The mining department is saying that it is not our responsibility to check those things. Now it is coming to transport department. So how we can detect on fly that whether the vehicles are having the proper license system or not, proper PUCC or not, proper road permit or not, proper fitness is now or not. Now integration is required. We have national highways, state highways, and we have the toll gates. And the FASTag is there. And capturing from the FASTag data, how it can be integrated with our Vahan and Sarathi application systems, and from there how we can able to calculate that which vehicles are challans should be issued against them, and then the challan is issued. So this is a solution where we have to integrate with number of applications. Now it is to be integrated with mining services, e-way bill, and so many things. So that vision and that mindset, that process engineering should happen. Now the third is the empowering our workforce. I will invite all the guests to visit one of our district in Odisha, that is Jagatsinghpur district. The Jagatsinghpur district, it has the e-office application starting from the panchayat level to the district administration. Every office has an e-office. How the file is moving, how the officers have been empowered, even the panchayat level officers have been empowered. So that model, that my officer should feel that I am empowered, even in the hardware level, even the handholding level, and at the software knowledge level. In J&K, one of our application is running from, it has been initiated in Odisha and it has been national rollout. That is called SATHI, S-A-T-H-I, Seed Authenticity and Holistic Inventory Management System. So that is for the seed inventory. Now you see, you can ask your officers, even at night, 1:30 p.m., 1:30 a.m., if they have the request, even our team has responded. Even the people are standing in the land, in the farming land, from there also they are requesting, my team is responding. So that empowerment, they feel, if someone is behind us, we can solve our problems. That mindset, that support system we have to develop. And fourth is what we are discussing about the impact analysis. What impact is happening? Whether people are happy, whether my employees are happy, whether citizens are getting the proper services or not. I was talking about e-detection. If you look at the statistics, we have implemented in Chhattisgarh also. I was just looking at the graph. The graph is down. When the graph, revenue graph is down, whether we should be happy or not, we should be happy because our motto was not revenue, our motto was road safety. When now 8,000 people were giving the tax or the penalty in, say, May, now they are giving only 1,000 plus. That means the awareness has been created, and the objective for which we have created that has been achieved. So that impact analysis should have, and then it will lead to the iterations, how we can improve upon the applications and how to improve our mindsets. This is from my side. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for sharing all those useful examples. And it's good to know that progress is happening not just in J&K but in other states as well. I mean, that was just in lighter vein. With this, I now request Vikas Nigam, who is the VP Head of ParadigmIT Technologies and who is also well versed with cyber security, is what he told me. And he will probably talk a lot more about the digital mindset that's required in the area of cyber security. And the clock is saying we have 6 minutes, and I request Vikas to keep it short so that we don't do injustice to the last speaker, Kishor Asrani. We give him enough time. Thank you.
Thanks, OP sir. Thank you very much. And don't worry, Kishorji, at least we are fortunate enough that it's not only the janitor is there. Anyway, first thing first, I congratulate Govt Connect for that initiative to bring this enterprise, industry and the government together. And we, since morning, talking about a lot in digital transformation and all. Some of the challenges being initial keynotes, General Pant, and then my colleague has covered because of that transformation, we comes with a lot of threats and all. I'm also thankful to this ILOC, DIT Odisha and OCAC for giving this opportunity to be part of this eminent panel. Before coming to exactly cyber threats with digital transformation, which we are talking about day in, day out, even we encountered also couple of things as revenue as well as taxation is here in this panel. So digital economy, as quoted by our Honorable MOS, Government of India, is going to be somewhere contribute 20% and going to be around 1 trillion by 2030. And currently it is in few billions only. So that kind of a vision if the government is having, then we have to gear up ourselves also to make sure that we in tune with the leadership as well as we safeguard the interest of the people, which is the digital transformation is. So would like to take a small few case studies. Most of us fortunate enough in a transition period from analog to digital kind of a thing. I can recall just two couple of cases. One, as of industry, I covered almost 2 decades back, once this biometric comes into the picture. So a lot of resistance was there. A few challenges if we talk about, one is that resistance was there. In the government sector, I can recall I personally was there, either people is doing any kind of a thing to get out of that. Either scratch it or there's some taping and all in the. So why I'm putting it all to bring this connect digital transformation and the same kind of a security needed, what we are going to do physical long back. So then technologies help us from optical to capacitive to thermal and then other, so even now in OP sir can better tell that in Aadhaar and all that, what kind of a biometric we are capturing and it's all secure and it's very difficult to. Then we talk about most of us must be into trading. I can recall that days 15 years back, the physical instrument, putting it, submitting it, and then today it's just a click of few buttons. We can have a credit at the end of the day. So this is the beauty of digital transformation. One thing I would just like to share, yesterday I was with the senior IPS in Odisha police. So enthralled to know the innovation, kind of an innovation, they are going for the cyber awareness. So for each district, police district, they have a 34 police district. So each police district, they have a cyber awareness rath. So it's a huge LED which will go to each district, being coupled with their CSR initiatives from various banking sector. So this is what kind of innovation they have come up. Why they have kept as Rath? Because that naturally that we are in Odisha, Puri is there. So that is why he told. So I was enthralled to understand and know that kind of a initiative, innovative initiatives. Since J&K panel is here, I was also looking after this agri-tech. One of my industry colleague covers a point also. So in J&K, once I was interacting, so that what the thought process of that, once I was ACS Agri, I was interacting, is that my thought process is that to bring that young generation, young blood into mainstream, because they are good in technology. Use that technology and they should get it. Apart from transformation, other kind of a diversification and all they are talking about. So this is what brings the digital transformation, digital emerging technologies. But problem is this, if we go with that, then it brings also a lot of threats also. We talk about digital transformation and then same time we talk about ransomware, phishing. These are all few things which my colleague Rajat has also covered. So how we can do safeguard it? This is important. We have to keep ourselves ready with the changes, as well as ensure that once it is delivering to the people, organization or the system, it should be foolproof, to the extent of foolproof. So if we have a right set of security implementation, right from perimeter, if we talk about, we all can recall the attacks on the parliament, then physical security comes in. Entire perimeter parliament is been now safeguarded. Likewise, perimeter security, network security, and the endpoint security, which the ParadigmIT is doing that with our Zero Trust product. And
Mr. Vikas, if I can request you to conclude, because I believe somebody, the last speaker, needs to catch a flight. So, and the clock is warning us. So I have the unpleasant task of cutting you short, and we request you to continue your discussion maybe after this, and request
one important point, if you allow me. Just how to.
I think he has a flight to catch, so if you can.
Just to inculcate, if we talk about since morning that education department and all that, if we can inculcate this cyber security hygiene session as part of their digital transformation, what that digital initiatives schools are taking place, I think we can have a new breed, which is not just only the fulfill the vision of this digital transformation completely in the near future to come, but also they can safeguard it. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. I request Kishor Asrani, the last, but I'm sure he has lots of interesting experiences to share as the head of enterprise business of NELCO. Floor is all yours.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. So since morning, we've seen examples of various use cases, mindset, and how practically every state, every bureaucrat, every decision maker is actually running, if I say the word, at full speed to adopt more and more use cases, making either ease of business or ease of life, right, for individuals. You know, like one of the factors which has come briefly is the penetration of networks, right? Because I represent network industry, so I'm going to talk more about how network is playing that role. You know, it's generally assumed because most of these initiatives are urban or semi-urban centric, and because as you roll out new and new softwares or new applications, the first point of rollout is your immediate presence, right? Your urban presence, right? And then slowly the adoption takes, and it takes you to the farthest possible areas. And then the challenges of network availability, the challenges of people knowing how to use those softwares, having the smartphone penetration in those areas, those kind of challenges start. So I want to talk about how satellites, the VSAT connectivity, is actually enabling wonderful use cases even in the remotest part of the country, right? Now let's take an example. We are testing one application in health area. Suppose there's a war zone, the soldier is wounded, right? There's no specialist available in the remote area, right? But there are applications, sensors available which you can attach to the body of the soldier through a tablet. The entire data is transmitted over the satellite network to the nearest possible specialist hospital. And the online application, so that's where the telemedicine and the network plays the crucial role. Why? Because these are so remote in areas where you can't have a permanent network. A temporary network using mobile satellite signals is created. So mobile satellite terminals is created so as to create. So to give you an example of one of the unit in Assam, DJR, Assam Rifles, they carry more than 60 such terminals. Each unit, whenever they move from one point of the border to other point of border, within 20 minutes, they are able to connect to their base network, right? They use video conferencing, they use audio, they do phone calls over the VSAT, right? So while, decision makers here think the penetration is not there, the answer is within India, with ISRO's satellite technology, because most of the satellites are in control of ISRO, those things are possible. I'll give you another example of one of the state in Northeast. The new education policy, NEP 2020, talked about multidisciplinary coaching, multilingual support, right? Now think about the scenario when we are studying, or even the previous generation, you only had fixed set of subjects. You can only take non-medical, or you can take medical, you can take arts or commerce, right? But now the NEP says you can take any combination. But imagine, is it possible in a remote school in a village, in a remote town? There are not enough teachers. If there are teachers, one teacher takes multiple subjects, right? Is it even possible to create any-to-any combination? The answer is that you can create an online education ecosystem. And after the pandemic, the government of India, through the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, started enabling a lot of funds for online education. Today, more than 2 states already have online ecosystem where there are studios, there is a learning management system, where there is analytics, there is a command center. So what all they are able to do? They are able to bring various specialists in the main cities where teachers are easily available. All the remote schools are able to log in through an interactive video ecosystem. The students are having uniform education experience, right? Midday meal, diversity attendance, teacher attendance, facial recognition system used, testing mechanism. So AI-enabled various questions are thrown on the screen, and the clicker is there with every student. The system within the few minutes of the lecture finishing tells you that, okay, what was the percentage effectiveness of that lecture, right? Which student has attended those answers correctly over the last so many sessions? Which student is not answering correctly over last so many sessions? Those kind of analytics are available on the fly. And this is available in thousands of schools already today. And more states are looking to adopt it, right? All this gets enabled on satellite network, because those remote schools, your internet penetration doesn't exist, right? And the inherent capability of satellite to do multicast, you upload the data once, and as many schools can receive it without incremental cost or incremental resources, they can receive that data, and hence it becomes very effective. This data is also recorded. If the student is not in the school, he can have his own app on his phone or on tablet, father's tablet, and be part of the session, because that broadcast is being received through normal internet as well, wherever the signal is available. If signal is not available, he has to be in the school. The idea is that technology today is enabling more and more solutions. and hence the penetration enabled by satellite, 4G, 5G in urban centers or home broadband is getting integrated very, very fast, right? So I gave you these two examples, and I know time is not in our side on today's panel, but network industry is getting ready. New inventions which are happening in satellite industry, from geo Earth orbit satellites now, LEO and MEO are coming, and maybe another 12 months, India will have access to those kind of things, which means your experience at home today with home broadband would also be similar using satellite, right? Because you can take 40 millisecond latency on LEO or 100 millisecond latency on MEO, which is about 600 millisecond latency on geo satellites. So tomorrow, they're already calling it fiber in the sky, right? Which means fiber speeds available at the remotest part of the country, right? It will give you ubiquitous feasibility, right? You can, by default assume that 99% of my locations anywhere physically, geographically, would be feasible on this network. 1% because at times there could be some kind of directional blockage, height, tall trees or a mountain or something, so that the satellite is not visible. That hardly 1 or 2%. Otherwise, satellite as an industry offers you that feasibility, right? At not very high cost. Yes, urban costs are slightly cheaper because of the penetration we have been able to achieve and the volumes which are there, but a practically viable commercial costs. Satellite industry today is ready to enable all these digital ecosystem, down to the last person who's waiting for these solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to the end of the discussion on the digital mindset. Thank you all for staying back and listening to this interesting discussion. I'm sure you found this all rewarding. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I would like to request all the dignitaries to kindly stay back for a while. Next, I would like to request Shri Vipul Jain ji, National Vertical Manager, Government Business for Smart Display Solution, Samsung, to kindly come and join us on the dais for felicitation. Can we have a big round of applause for this amazing panel discussion? And this was the last session of today's conclave. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming and joining us. And it's a request to all of you to kindly put your hands together so that, let's have some last bit of energies because this is the last session as well. And we would like to end it in an energetic note again. Thank you so much, sir, for coming and joining us. Thank you for your precious time. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I would like to request all our dignitaries to kindly come forward, and I'd like to request Vipul ji to kindly stay back for the group photo.